If you're a marketer or a business owner here in India, I'm willing to bet there's one question that's always on your mind. What's the real cost of running ads on Facebook? Well, today, we're going to unlock that answer. We're getting straight to the 2025 numbers and giving you a clear playbook for your next campaign.
This is the big one, right? This is probably why you're watching. You need to know if it's actually affordable, if it's going to be effective, and what kind of budget you really need to see some results. So let's get you those answers.
All right, let's not waste any time. No fluff. Here are the average costs you can pretty much expect to see for your campaigns right here in the Indian market.
Okay, so let's break this down. Your cost per click, or CPC, that's what you pay every single time someone actually clicks on your ad. And look at that. It can be as low as half a rupee. Then you've got CPM, which is your cost for 1,000 people to just see your ad in their feed, and that's sitting around 9 or 10 rupees. But what's really wild is that cost per lead, getting someone's info, is incredibly low. These are the kinds of numbers you should be benchmarking against.
And this right here, this really puts things into perspective. When you see our Indian CPC next to the global average of about 78 rupees for a single click, wow, the difference is just huge. The big takeaway here is that India is, without a doubt, one of the most cost-effective places in the entire world to be running Facebook ads.
So we've seen the what, but why are the prices what they are? It's not like Facebook has a fixed price list. It all comes down to a live, super fast auction that's happening literally every second.
You gotta think of it like this. Every single time there's an open ad spot in someone's feed, Facebook runs this lightning-fast auction to decide whose ad gets to pop up. You're constantly in a bidding war with every other advertiser trying to reach the same people you are.
So how do you win this auction? Well, and this is super important, it's not just about who has the biggest wallet. Facebook looks at 3 things. Sure, your bid matters, but so does what they call the estimated action rate. That's just how likely they think someone is to actually click or buy from your ad. And number 3, maybe the most important, is your ad's quality and relevance. A fantastic, engaging ad can actually beat a higher bid from a competitor. It's pretty cool.
Okay, now that we kind of get how the auction works, let's talk about the specific things that push your costs up or down. And these aren't just random forces of nature, these are levers you can actually pull to control your own spending.
Every one of these can make a huge difference. For example, if you get super specific with your targeting, it might cost more because you're competing for a smaller group of people. An ad that's trying to get direct sales will almost always cost more than an ad just trying to get your name out there. And of course, timing is everything. Trying to advertise during a huge holiday like Diwali, yeah, prices are going to spike. But the key thing to remember is that a high-quality, super relevant ad helps lower your costs across the board.
All right, enough theory. How do we actually put all this into practice? How do we get those costs down and make every single rupee you spend work way harder? Let's dive into your optimization playbook.
This is your action plan. You should be A/B testing constantly, and I mean everything. Test different headlines, different pictures, different buttons, and use frequency caps. You don't want to be that annoying brand that shows the same ad to the same person 100 times. It's called ad fatigue, and it's real. Also, play around with scheduling your ads to run only when you know your audience is most likely to be scrolling.
Now listen up, because this is probably the most powerful tip of them all. A warm audience is just a fancy way of saying people who already know who you are. Maybe they visited your website or liked your page. Showing your ads to these people, which is called retargeting, is almost always cheaper and way more effective than yelling at a crowd of total strangers.
Okay, tactics and theory are great, but let's talk about the money. How much do you actually need in your pocket to get started? Let's look at some realistic budget levels and a few costs that people always seem to forget about.
If you're just dipping your toes in the water, you do not need a massive budget. A couple thousand to 5,000 rupees is perfect. Think of this as your lab money. It's for experimenting, gathering data, and seeing what actually works with your audience, all without breaking the bank.
So, once you got some of that initial data, you can level up. This budget range is where you start running more focused campaigns with a clear goal in mind. You're not just testing anymore. You're actively trying to drive traffic or get a list of solid leads for your business.
And then there's this level. This is for when you've found a winner, a campaign that's just crushing it. Now it's time to pour some fuel on that fire. With a budget of 25,000 or more, your whole game shifts to your return on ad spend, or ROAS, making sure every rupee you put in is bringing back more in return.
Now, before you finalize that budget, hold on. There's one last really important piece to this puzzle. The amount you see in your Facebook Ads Manager, well, it isn't always the final amount you end up paying.
Yeah, you've got to factor these things into your total marketing budget. You're going to have taxes like GST added to your bill. You might see some currency conversion fees. And of course, the big one, the cost of actually making the ad. The graphic design, the video shoot, all of that is part of the real cost. A realistic budget has to include the whole shebang.
So there you have it. That's the complete breakdown of what it really costs to run Facebook ads in India. The system might seem complicated, but like we've seen, the opportunity here is just massive. And now you're armed with the knowledge to start spending smarter. So the only question left is, what are you going to test first?